Memoir of the Snail is my 7th stop motion film, and this one's probably my darkest but also hopefully my funniest. So it really swings between comedy and tragedy, and it's essentially the story of a lonely woman in Australia in the 1970s who hoards anything to do with snails. So she fills her home with every variety of snail ornament, snail shoes, snail paraphernalia. But it's not so much about her hoarding, it's more about the reasons why she hoards. And like most extreme hoarders, there's usually a psychological reason for why they collect all this stuff. So it explores a variety of themes. As I said, it hopefully is funny at times. It has a happy ending, and it's very Australian as well. My aesthetic is what I call chunky wonky, and what I make are what I call clayographies, which is a portmanteau term of clay biography, clayography. What that means is that every character I write about is based on a real person. They're not documentaries, they are works of fiction, but they are based on my family and friends and people I meet along the way. My aesthetic is sort of what I would call chunky wonky imperfect. So everything has a asymmetry to it. So I really don't want the props and sets and characters to look too refined. I don't want the film to look like it is computer animated. We want to celebrate the lumps and bumps, the imperfections. I just love things that have a imperfect look to them. And in the film, actually, we explore the Japanese art form of kintsugi, which again celebrates flaws and imperfections. But also the characters themselves, particularly the lead characters, are broken people in a way. They're damaged, and the film explores their psyches and what got them into this state and how they repair themselves and get through life. Here at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, New York, we have the Memoir of a Snail mini exhibit, I call it, because of course in a feature film there are literally thousands of prop sets and characters that had to be built to make a stop motion feature film. So here is a slice of some of the assets, as we call them, on display. Not only have we got bits of the film on display, but also there's an interactive component where the public can come in and make their own little mini stop motion film, which they get to keep. Well, of course, every artist around the world wants to have some form of their art exhibited in New York. So this certainly is something I can tick off my list, particularly because the museum is about the moving image, and I've had exhibitions in Australia which show my drawings and my personal artwork, but I've never had an exhibition outside of Australia that celebrates and showcases not just the creations, the puppets, the sets, the props, but also the art form. And again, I really like what the museum have done here by having an interactive component where the public can come in and animate their own little short film. The wonderful thing about stop motion is it's going through a bit of a renaissance, as I call it, or a golden period, because there's so much CGI out there. Of course, we now have AI. So I think handcrafted art forms are really much more appreciated at the moment. And I know when I left film school in 1996, I was told I was pursuing a dying art form and that stop motion would be destroyed by CGI, but the complete opposite has happened. And of course there's wonderful directors like Guillermo del Toro and Wes Anderson and Tim Burton who are all dabbling in stop motion, making stop motion features. So the art form is alive and well, and that brings me a lot of comfort and relief.
This is the BTRP Media Network.